गाइस, स्वागत है आप सबका फिर से सुनो कहानी मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल पे, जहाँ पे मैं अलग अलग बुक्स को पढ़ के आप तक प्रोवाइड कराती हूँ। और अभी हम फिलहाल पढ़ रहे हैं ललन स्वीट्स, जिसका मैंने 6 चैप्टर ऑलरेडी अपलोड कर दिए हैं। आज है चैप्टर 7 पढ़ने का दिन। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट। वी स्टॉप्ड द फ्याट once we were quite a distant away from Mathura. It was only then that Nico urged me to open the letter that Meenakshi had handed to me. My hand shook as I tore open the envelope. Dearest Taru, so you have done it. Crossed the first task in what might right now be one of the most exciting journeys in your life. This is just the beginning though. There is a good chance that you must be thinking whether your poor Lalaji has finally lost his mind, asking you to put pots on your head and walk. There is no greater reason for asking you to do this except just because. Sometimes when I look at you, I am scared because there is so much of me in you. You plan one thing after the next, you are ready to get going and get work done every morning. You build things from the ground up, full of energy, achieving your goals and ticking them off one by one. But this was a reminder to do things for their own sake, not for a greater purpose, just for their sheer joy. Remember when you refused to go to your Kathak classes because you felt they would add nothing to your life goals. I was proud of you then, of my granddaughter who was so single minded. But now, Taru, I am older and want you to remember to do something just for fun. I was in Mathura once when I was younger than you, loitering around and mandir, looking at people for no reason at all. I didn't even know why I was in the city except that I had happened onto a train that was going Mathura. I had nothing to do, nowhere to go except home. So I just hung around watching the Russia, and that's how I met your grandmother. So remember, Tara, that to do something for no reason at all can be best thing you do. Yours, Lalaji. Of course, I whispered, holding the letters close. How could I forget? Lalaji met her here in Mathura. My grandmother had died before I was born. I never met her as the years went by. Lalaji spoke little about her, and I mostly never thought about that part of his life that he had shared with his wife. For me, he had always been just Lalaji. Taru, this is terrible, Niku said suddenly. What? Lalaji found your Dadi here in Mathura, his life partner. Maybe he wants the same for you, and that's why he sent you to Mathura. You met Vijay Mathur, but we just ran away from. Oh, you are pitching me too hard. Don't take his name again. I said as he leaned back laughing. I turned the letter around, and there was more from Lalaji on the other side. Your daddy and I always wanted to see the Taj on a full moon night. We could not, but you can. Send me a picture of you at the Taj on a full moon night, and I'll send you your next hint. Wah, Taj. Taj, he wants us to go to Agra. Well, there is no way we can do so right now. It's not that far. Taru, it's almost 10. I had to get out of the city because of your lover boy. But we can't get on the highway. Can you imagine the thugs and the thieves and whatnot? He's not my lover boy. Niku looked at me, amusement. It's a good thing that I am tired and can't think of any jokes. Let's drive to a motel or something. I, meanwhile, tried to get the image of Vijay Mathur out of my head. Niku pulled over at the first motel we saw. The board said Motel Vijay in neon red and green, and despite my protests, Niku insisted that it would be the best for us. Got the bag? I asked Niku, referring to our small important one. We could leave the bigger one in the car. Duck duck करने लगा. Played on the TV at the reception. But apart from that, it didn't seem as shady as it looked from the outside. The receptionist, whose eyes were fixed on the screen before we came, suddenly stood up, taking in our appearance. He cleared his throat once and gave a little bow. Check in, he asked politely. We nodded. Niku unsoldered our backpack. Come to see Taj honeymoon, he asked. I looked away, embarrassed. Was this guy draft? If it really wasn't my honeymoon, would I have been looking as haggard as this? No, not honeymoon, Niku replied, laughing, handing him our IDs. He looked at us confused, and then he read the names and smiled, vanishing from his face. No Armani couples, he whispered furiously, slapping the IDs back on the table. Nico seemed completely taken by surprise. Excuse me, Mr. Manager, I said. We are not a couple. He is my brother. Cousin है मेरा. आज cousin है, कल साजन है. He said, sliding the IDs back towards us. We don't entertain unmarried people in the same room. We don't even want a double bed, I said, the heat rushing up to my face. We want two singles. He is my cousin brother, and I am here because I have an exam in Agra tomorrow, a government exam, and my parents really expect me to clear it. Where will I go in the middle of the night? Tell me. My cousin is studying in the college here, but of course he is not allowed to have girls in his boys' hostel. That's why we are here. I have traveled the entire day. Please let us stay here or it will be ruin my exam. Please, we will be out here first thing in the morning. He took another look at my pleading face and paused for a full minute before he took our IDs back. Payment now, he said in a hard tone, and just for one night. We hurriedly paid him and he pointed to us to our room. We crossed the motel bar, a little dingy room. I better not hear any noises from here, he said before handing us the keys. I pretended to look offended. Oh, don't worry, Nicola. She has a boyfriend, and better still, he is a world famous teacher. I kicked him in a sin before shutting the door behind us. Two dreary single beds lay next to each other, in front of which was a very small television. Electric curtains were drawn across the windows. Nico dropped the bag on his bed. I tried to turn the TV on, but it would not work well. Let's just go to bed, I guess. Did you see the bar is downstairs? Yes, it seemed interesting. Let's go there, he said, already walking to the door. We have to celebrate the completion of your first task. I looked at him curiously for a few seconds, shrugged, and then followed him. This could not mean anything. Hadn't he been quick to remind the manager that I had a DJ boyfriend? I didn't recognize the song that was playing when we walked into the bar, which smelled of cigarettes, peanuts, and liquid. The entire place was bathed in a red tinge. There were just men at the tables, huddled in pairs or alone. I felt all eyes on me when we walked in. Better let me be your husband here, Niku said quietly. I laughed when I remembered the manager quick. आज cousin है कल साजन है. Yes sir, the bartender said as soon as we took a seat and suddenly realizing his manners, turned to me and added, yes ma'am. Grinning, we asked him what was available and accepted his suggestion of their special important whiskey. Not many in this area can stock important whiskey, sir, he said, pouring it into our glasses and then adding in a lower voice. They deal in Desi Tharra, totally locally brewed and what not. Here we strictly forbid it, not fit to be consumed by people like you. He turned to me and smiled once more before leaving. Never thought I would seem so fancy, Niku said, raising his glass. Oh, please, he meant me. We clicked our glasses. I drank slowly, not particularly realizing the whiskey that won its way down my throat. Niku pulled a face. It seems adulterated. So much for his lecture on Terra. It's not so bad. Remember what we drank with Minakshi? It was almost that. I raised my eyebrows. Look like you made a friend. Nico quickly took a sip and said, don't be jealous. I can have more than one friend. She did not want to be just friend. Still jealous, he said, and I looked away annoyed. Why didn't even get into this stupid conversation with him? I had to act cooler than that. I noticed the man sitting next to our table staring shamelessly at us. I looked away in irritation. Let's play a game, Niku said. I looked at him in confusion. What do you mean, what game? I mean a game for fun. But we are here. How can we play game? Do you mean Rajmantri Chorsipai or something? We need 4 people for that. Niku rolled his eyes. No, I don't mean that. Taru, something fun like a drinking game. We used to play that all the time in Bangalore. What do you have to do? Okay, let's see, he said, resting his chin on his glass. I will make a statement. It can be my opinion or what I think is right. If you agree with it, I drink it. If you don't agree, you drink. Okay, I said, replying what he has said in my head. Let's start. Tara Taneja has a strange nose. I stuck my tongue out at him and took a sip of the whiskey. I have to take sip, he said, indignity. Shut up. Okay, now how about this? Secretly, you really like my rhymes, especially when it's about people like Vijay Mathur. I could not help but laugh. Okay, fine, you win, I do. He grinned broadly before taking a sip. You are thrilled that Bolo Tararara has your name it. I waited for a few seconds and then took my hands away from the glass. I love it. He took another gulp. Let me go now, I said, clutching my glass and looking around. If you agree with it, I drink. If you don't agree, you drink. In the dim red hue of the place, I caught some eyes looking our way. You are scared of Lalaji, I said. He stared at me for a few seconds. I was in fury. I used to be, but I am not now, he said, signaling me to drink. Are you telling the truth? It's the basis of this game. Fine, you still have your kancha collection and clean it from the time to time? Damn right I do, he said, taking another large sip. What kind of man would I be if I could not maintain my kancha collection? I gave him a weird look before going on and suddenly realized the opportunity I had. I narrowed my eyes at him and said, 1988, our last Gulgappa eating competition after we won the Kho championship. You cheated, didn't you? You can't ask question, it's not truth or dare. Okay, I said. Okay, you said you ate 27 Gulgappas, but you actually ate just 23, remember? Niku. Truth is the basis of this game. He waited for a few seconds as his eyes made contact with mine. I knew he was struggling and I watched him carefully. I knew he didn't have it in him to break the rules of his own game, and I was right. He set back his head down, silently admitting to it. I slapped my hands on the table and finished all of my whiskey, although it was not my turn, and happily asked the bartender for another. Niku Tiku, the famed champion of 1988 Golgappa eating competition, carrying around a false victory for years, I announced to the bar. Alright, fine, but don't act as if you are very righteous. You have cheated many times too. This is about you, Niku. My honor was at stake. He whispered, his voice suddenly vulnerable, and I had to lean forward just to hear him. I had done so badly in the exams, I had to do my father proud somehow. I know, that's why I didn't bring it up after you got the prize, although I had my suspicions. His father always had a such competition of him, and I knew it affected Niku a great deal. His father had lived in Siaka all of his life, becoming one of its best loved men, running Sabarwala Siaka stationers, winning the Golgappa eating competition until his stomach could not take it. He had expected Niku to follow his footsteps and offer to open a photo studio or a fancy new stationery shop for him. But Niku had turned the offer down, studying hard and moving to Bangalore, instead leaving his father and me, to be very honest, heartbroken. Niku never talked about any of this though, and maybe him doing so now was the magic of the whiskey. He was about to say something when the man who had been sitting at the table next to ours walked over, smiling and his eyes slightly out of focus. Don't even try. Niku warned him before he could even open his mouth. He hung his head and returned to his seat. What were you saying? I asked Niku. That let's drink this and get back. We finished our drinks and I continued to tease him a bit more. I have to admit that my head spun a little as we walked back and I bumped my soldier into his arm. What? He asked. How would you do it? Well, he said, opening the door to our room and ushering me inside. The trick really is to direct the attention somewhere else. So when the bhaiya was handing me the golgappas, I put my other hand on my stomach. Like I had had too many. I really built it up slowly, acting as if I was in a pain, and then after a few more, I rubbed my chest as if the golgappas were getting stuck, like I was going to choke. Then even the bhaiya got scared for a bit. What a con, I said as he stood in front of me, his eyes boring into mine. Even as he explained how he had cheated, his eyes seemed sincere and honest. But where did the golgappa go? He leaned forward. I crashed them in my hand and letting the water fall, and then stuffed the remains in my pocket. Trust me, it's really hard, this deception. It's all about practice, really. His face was now inches away from mine. Why had he left Siakka? Why everything had been so perfect, and even after all this time? It felt like nothing had changed. And now I think we should go to bed because it's really late and that whiskey seemed to have it hit you hard. I looked down right. The next morning Nico drove the city, squinting and trying to look at the names of the streets through the glinting sun. Even as I yelled at the people to get out of the way, we had not spoken much during the drive. I had seen Nico walked out of the bathroom in towel, water dripping from his body. The last time I had seen him that naked was 2 summers before he left, or that time when he had been swimming in Tima Lake, when he was still a boy and didn't have the chest. When he laughed at my obvious awkwardness, I simply gave him a cold look and walked away. He honked at the crowd that refused to budge. Arehatu, I yelled, refusing to move like Tendulkar. Get out of the way or we will ram you with that Fiat. A bicycle almost hit us from the side and tapped the guy on the head. Taru, there is no need to get violent. He almost hit our car. The sweat and grim added our irritation as we got closer to the Taj Mahal. Finally, we squeezed the Fiat into a little parking spot and stepped out. Take the bag, I said groggily to Nico, who counted as we ignored the people holding the Fiat. What if someone steals it? I murmured. Will serve us right, Niku said, swinging the bag on his shoulder as we walked, crossing little stalls of Muradabadi biryani, Agra peta, and sovereigns. We were amused by a bunch of rickshaws walas who offered to take us the ticket counter one rupee only straight to the west gate. Buggy ride, madam. Buggy for you and sir. Romantic ride, madam. Niku suggested we walk under the shade of the trees on the footpath. It was actually nice and busy. I wondered why I could not see the Taj. Well, yet if it was so big, it had to be an exaggeration. Have you seen it before? Nico asked me. I shook my head. We walked through the crowd to reach the counter, joining the queues. The tour guides around us asked us repeatedly if we wanted to take a tour, and I sent them off. There were many foreign tourists wearing hats and glasses and holding umbrellas. I snorted at them. It was just a bit of sun. I turned to Niku, only to find him looking let down. We can't see the Taj at night, he said. What, why? I'm sure we can. Lalaji said so. Niku shook his head as I shoved him away to talk to the man at the ticket counter myself. I tried every trick. I flattered him, yelled at him, threatened him, and finally resorted to bring him much to the chagrin of people standing behind us, but the ticket man would not budge. Trying bribing him with your yakka pants, Niku said as I looked around helplessly. We finally gave up and moved away from the queue, only to run straight into a tall guy who was dressed sharply in a shirt and trousers, was smiling at us. Come with me, he said cryptically, and turned around, giving us a backyard devilish glance. I specialize in couples. Niku looked at me strangely and was about to say something, but I put my hand up. We walked away from the Taj Mahal and turned onto a street that had number of tourist booths. The man led us inside one little shop on the walls of which were big posters of the Taj Mahal, Agra Fort, and the other tourist destination. I am Khan, the guide, he said, putting his hands into his trousers pockets, smiling widely. Please take a seat. Nico and I barely managed to squeeze ourselves into the two teeny chairs placed in front of his desk. Khan turned his back to us and then suddenly opened his arms up. The city of love, the city that cut off 20,000 pairs of hands, the city where the dead are inseared in the tomb the world had never seen. He turned back to face us, his arm still extended, staring at us when neither of us reacted. He went on, the city that spanned 1,000 stories when it come became the seat and throne of the great Sahansa, the king of kings. Which one again? Who made Agra the capital? Nikwas. Khan folded his arms back and stood up. That's the question, isn't it? The great secret. Not really, since we studied the great Agra city tour. Taj Mahal, special entry to the tomb, Agra Fort, Fatehpur Sikri, the tomb of Akbar the Great. Travel in Maruti card, water bottle free, lunch at famous 3-star, only rupees. Can you show us the Taj Mahal at night or not? I interrupted him. Of course I can show you Taj Mahal, madam. It is a splendid structure, one of us, the seven wonders of the world, but looks the best when the rays of the sun are bouncing off the white marble. Mr. Khan, please, we are not interested in all this. If you cannot show us the Taj Mahal at night, we will leave right now. Fine, I don't have the ticket to see the Taj Mahal at night. Nico and I gave up each other a tired look and got up to leave, but I know someone who does. We sat down again. There are very exclusive tickets, Khan said. One is only allowed to view the Taj Mahal on a full moon night and 2 nights preceding and following that night. Very few of these tickets come out of the general public, and most of these are snatched up by greedy, convening travel agents who offer them to foreigners only. One of these agents, luckily for you, sits right now down the street. He will certainly have tickets for tonight night viewing. Nico leaned forward. Well, how can we get it? See, although the ticket is not expensive, it's exclusive. He is not allowed to sell the ticket at higher price, so he only offered them to people he deemed to be rich tourists, so they might take a other service for him too. I see what you mean, I said. You want us to pretend we are rich NRIs and only then we will get it. Khan nodded. Who should we be? I asked Nico. I can be Reema Singhania from America with my millionaire husband Anil Singhania, still tycoon, best friend of Ambani. I don't know, Nico said, sounding unsure. I think anybody called Anil Singhania should have a beard, one of those French beards. You know, I agreed with him. Anil Singhania could not be taken lightly. I mean, Nico was wearing sorts of goat's sake. What do you get of this though? I asked Khan. He smiled sheepishly. Well, if you can get me a photograph of the Taj on a full moon night, I will use it on my brochure. Then I will be part of the big league of travel agents. You know, I might be able to get night time tickets in the future. Nico nodded at him. I have an idea, Khan said. Let's find some different clothes for you too. There is a local market here that sells rejected imports. Even the rejected import is very important here. See, what is a rejected import? Come with me, Khan said. By any chance, do you have a car? We have to make a great impression. A couple of hours later, Khan was driving the Fiat while both of us sat at the back, uncomfortable at his loss of power. I wore trousers and blazer with heels that barely let me walk. The good part about the pantsuit was that it was for really thin guys, so it fit me perfectly and I could make the impression I had in mind. The formidable NRI I had decided to be a working wife. Niku too wore a formal suit, but he looked extremely uncomfortable. Try to look angry and professional. I told him, "Your suit is too big for you," he said to me. Khan drove us back to the street, stopping the car just near Pankaj Travel Agency, and told us to go in and do our thing. I asked him to open the doors for us to create a better impression, and he did so. Once I stepped out, Nico handed me sunglasses, which I wore with panic, suddenly feeling the character as he heads turned to look at us. "I'm going to wait in the car," Khan said. "He might recognize me, but make sure you also negotiate for a ticket for me to get the photograph, Taj photograph." "You know we knew," I hissed. Nico and I held my hand just for a moment. It could have been the cover of magazine, my hair flying in whatever little wind a hot Agra morning offered both of us wearing sunglasses and almost matching pantsuit. I had even put a dash of a red lipstick. The heels made me look almost as tall as Nico. A blast of cool air hit us as we walked into the office. It was from the cooler positioned at window. A man sitting behind the table immediately got up from his chair. I removed my sunglasses, looking around with a slight disdain, and watched the man's face turn eager. The thing is, I should have been an actress. It was just that acting opportunities in Siaka were not the best, or I would have been Shah Rukh Khan's preferred lead. "Welcome, madam, sir." "Welcome, please sit. Chotu, pani la jaldi." "No, thank you," I said, putting my hand up tentatively, although I was thirsty. "We can really drink local water. Our stomachs are not used to it. "Oh," said the man. Who I amused was Pankaj or Pankaj's travel agency. Crestfallen, I found Niku staring at me with his eyebrows forward. I pinched the side of his knee and response, "My agent might not be the most genuine, but whose really is. And how would this travel agent ever know? What can I do for you, sir, madam?" I looked at Niku as he cleared his throat and placed his hands on the table. I was sure he was wondering how to match his accent with mine. Finally, imitating some English movies that were often played on cable TV. Actually, we have lived most of our lives in America. We don't come here much, once in a 10 years maybe. It's been Tara's, my wife, Tara, dream to see Taj Mahal under the moonlight. It was my anniversary gift to her. This trip today is our anniversary, and we want to spend it under the moonlight at Taj. Pankaj clapped his hands together in delight. "Happy anniversary! Amazing, amazing! Of course, I understand. Yes, yes. May I ask you where you are staying, just out of curiosity?" "At Taj Hotel." I butted. "Very comfortable, wonderful, wonderful. Most of our guests are from Taj only." "And which city are you from in America?" "New York City," I blurted. It was the only city I knew, and I hoped that he won't ask for more. I was not sure if I would be able to make up an English name for a locality. "Very nice, very nice. So, what do you work as, sir, madam, if you don't mind me asking?" "I am, well, a scientist. I call myself an engineer there at a big company. You probably don't know the name. It's an internet company." You looked blank. "What's internet?" "I can't possibly explain. There is a huge technology lag between America and India." Oh, Pankaj looked completely enchanted. "And madam, I am the president of charity of Indians in America," I replied. "That I understand," he laughed. Then, with a wink, he added, "Charity begins at home." "Ah, of course, always." "Well, great then. I must tell you that our full moon passes are very exclusive, generally only for foreigners. But of course, for estimate people like yourself, I can make an arrangement. You need pick up from hotel." "No," I said quickly. "We have a driver actually. We need one ticket for him too. We don't go anywhere without him. He is kind of our bodyguard, if you know what I mean. Sensitive business. Can't you say too much? We are best at being discreet." Pankaj muttered. "Be outside the Taj Mahal complex at 11 p.m. We will take you from there. Also, I would suggest that if you like our service, take the rest of our tour with us. We are the best in the city, after all." "Yes, sir." "Sure," I said, trying to sound confident. "Your name, please?" "Mr. and Mrs. Singhania." "Perfect. Taj." The next thing we knew, we found ourselves walking towards the Taj complex on cloudy full moon night, at a time when the city was mostly certain. Only a stray dog barked somewhere. A scooter whizzed up past us. I asked Niku what internet company he was talking about. He shrugged. "Just made it up." "And what was the president of charity thing?" "He might expect us to bribe him, thinking that we have so much black money that we have opened a charity. He anyway would have expected it. Best to get it out of the way. Let's try and see if we can avoid it." Khan, meanwhile, was over the moon. Literally, he kept trying to hold the moon between his thumb and forefinger, saying he would take the best picture ever for his company pamphlets. We got there to find a throng of people waiting outside and gates. I realized that Khan was right. It was either foreigners or rich looking Indians there. I straightened my pantsuit. and held Niku's hand in effort to look like a modern couple. The change in his expression was easy to notice. Just as I was about to comment on it, I spotted Rohit and Mohit in the group, both of them looking at us in astonishment. सो गाइस यहाँ पे चैप्टर 7 खत्म होता है, तो मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक शेयर एंड कमेंट योर फेवरेट बुक. गुड बाय.